What is going on, guys? Jason Burke here, Styles Clash for Life, coming at you on YouTube, and today I've got some football focus. The Pittsburgh Steelers just finished their Week 13 matchup with the Atlanta Falcons in the 2022 NFL season, and this was kind of another favorable gift in the schedule for the Steelers. Our schedule started off really tough early on in the season. Coming into this game now, we're coming in 2 of the last 3 games, we got wins. We had a very, decent overall performance against the Saints. We had a really good, promising first half shootout against the Bengals 2 weeks ago, and then the second half we had an implosion. And then last week we had a really good first half, the best first half of the season, against the Colts. And the Colts came back and we weathered the storm and still won on Monday night. But in the last 2 weeks, we saw really, really encouraging first halves and kind of really rough second halves. The last week against the Colts was better, so we had to see if we could put together an entire game against the Falcons, who have a pretty good, decent offense, a good running combination of 2 running backs, Patterson being a speed guy, Tyler Algier being a power guy, Marcus Mariota being an underrated runner at quarterback, and then Kyle Pitts being injured, which helped us out today. That would have been a real tough matchup for us because our linebackers and safeties don't cover tight ends well. Them not having their star tight end really helped us, but they still had Drake London, a promising rookie wide receiver out of USC who's got a lot of length. He had a pretty solid game against us, but Atlanta's defense is really bad. It's one of the worst defenses in the league, and Atlanta also does not keep leads well. They are the biggest kind of choke artist team in the league as far as losing big leads. We all go back to that Patriots Super Bowl and all that stuff, but yeah, coming into this game, we had a lot of stuff on the line, just kind of trying to keep momentum and see where our rookie quarterback and this new young offense could go. And once again, in the first half, it was a very good, complete first half. It's almost like a broken record. You can almost just copy and paste what I said for the last 2 weeks and put it right in this video here to start off with. Had a really solid first half, got out to a 16-6 lead, scored on every drive in the first half except for kneeling down at the very, very end to go to halftime. But got 1 touchdown and 3 field goals, 4 consecutive scoring drives. Pittsburgh has kind of found their niche on offense. It is the kind of the slow and steady wins the race, using Najee Harris to get those nice 5 and 6 yard chunk plays, which he's been doing for the last month. Jaylen Warren was back in the game this week. We had injuries last week to Najee and Warren. Both were back this week, so that was good to see. Benny Snell got some playing time after his good performance last week. So the running game has kind of been a nice foil. Pat Freiermuth as the check down tight end who can make some nice hands catches over the middle and break some plays like he did today. Kind of starting off with the slow-paced offense and then getting into the chunks as Kenny Pickett looks downfield a little more. Really promising first half. Kenny Pickett, again, every week he's taking a few more shots downfield. He's looking a little more comfortable. He's sitting in the pocket a little more. As long as the offensive line continues to improve slightly, and again, they're not leaps and bounds better than they were. They're still a weak unit, but they're getting a little better each time. They're opening up a little more for Najee Harris and Jaylen Warren. They're giving Kenny Pickett a little more time in the pocket, and sometimes he's still getting hit way too hard, but he is taking more shots down the field. He is throwing more routes. He's looking in the middle of the field a little bit more. He's looking upfield when he's running. He's having to run a little bit less for his life, which is nice out there. When he is running, he's still getting out of the pocket and looking downfield. So I am encouraged very much by this first half. Second half, the Falcons did make a comeback, so we got out to a 16-6 lead, and the defense looked pretty much lights out, holding a pretty high-powered Atlanta offense that's pretty underrated, under-the-radar kind of team. Holding them to 6 points in the first half was pretty nice. Good pass coverage down the field. Didn't let Mariota do much outside of a couple of runs. Held Cordero Patterson to 0 yards in the first half. Really kept the Falcons' running game off base and never got them on track, which meant their entire offense was running off track. Good pass coverage, staying disciplined in their gaps in the run game. Only 6 points allowed in the whole first half. They did outscore us in the second half 10-3. So the Falcons did come down, get a nice long drive that resulted in a field goal to start the second half, and then Pittsburgh goes 3 and out for the first time in a play that was called a fumble and then called back into an incomplete pass. So Falcons come down for a long drive and score. Pittsburgh goes 3 and out. Falcons come down to end the third quarter with a really fast touchdown drive, and all of a sudden we're starting to see the same thing we've seen for the last couple of halves, last couple of second halves, where Pittsburgh gets out to a lead and then defense gets tired, offense doesn't convert, and now all of a sudden the offense kind of gets one-dimensional. The defense starts to allow some big chunk plays, and it's kind of back to normal, right? But thankfully, again, Pittsburgh was able to hold off on defense, got a couple of nice stops, bend but don't break, and then the offense was able to run the ball, have a nice, choosing when to have Pickett run, choosing when Pickett should take a short slant play or something simple to extend the drives, and having Najee Harris run through tackles and kind of take the air out of the ball and run the clock out. So we saw good old Pittsburgh football at the end there. Very scary third quarter did not go our way, but quarters 1, 2, and 4, much like last week, are good. So we're still lacking that 4 quarters. We're still lacking that third quarter burst. We've been getting out to really good first halves, bad third quarters, and now for the last 2 weeks in a row, good fourth quarters, which lead us to a 19-16 victory. That is 3 wins in the last 4 weeks and 4 consecutive good first halves in a row. So I am encouraged overall. Here are some stats. Kenny Pickett, 16 of 28, 197 yards, 1 touchdown, no picks, also 7 carries, 14 yards. So a bulk of that 197 was in the first half. Kenny Pickett, I think, had like 143 or 149 in the first half, so he was on pace for a 300-yard day. Only literally passed for 50 yards in the second half. Really, really small numbers there, mostly because Atlanta had two drives. One was really long to open up the third quarter, and then we got a quick 3 and out. So we didn't really hold the ball at all in the third quarter, and then in the fourth, it was mostly down to Najee Harris's running, trying to run the clock out so we could hold on for the win. Overall, though, like I said, in spite of the second half being a little bit lackluster for Pickett, I like what he's doing. He's looking a little more comfortable. He's taking some shots downfield. He's still missing some. There's still some shots that he's still missing. He missed one. Deontay Johnson was open on a one-on-one, and he threw the ball late to the middle of the field, turning Deontay into the safety. So now the open one-on-one turns Deontay into a late one-on-two where he can't catch the ball. There was another pass. Even though it went for a touchdown, it was Connor Hayward dragging his feet in the back of the end zone. Connor was wide open, and he had to really catch the ball and drag his feet at the last second because he almost let him out of bounds. So Pickett kind of almost overthrew that one. He still went for a touchdown pass, but the ball was thrown kind of late because Connor was wide open, and Connor almost didn't get those feet down because of the late throw, but still goes for a touchdown anyway. There was another play where Deontay had a break-off route where he was running down the sidelines and broke one off and was just missed by Pickett. So Pickett has been missing some stuff. He's been still a little high. He's still a little errant on some pretty important throws. But again, every single week I'm seeing incremental steps getting better. He slung a really nice one on a deep, 20-yard tight coverage in route. Or I think it was a short slant maybe to Steven Sims where Sims dropped it. But really nice throw. Also, he's finding a lot of nice plays to Pat Freiermuth in the middle of the field. He's throwing these little in and out routes to the outside across his body very nicely to the powerful tight end, letting Freiermuth take a 4, 5, 6-yard gain, break a few tackles, get a first down. One time he took a 7-yard out throw, nice throw by Pickett, but he took a 7-yard play and took it 50 yards down the field. So Pat Freiermuth, an emerging star in this offense. So overall, again, Pickett not perfect, still making a couple of decisions where he's not getting the ball out fast enough, still missing a few throws, but every week we're seeing more opportunities, more downfield throws, better vision, better throws overall, more consistency. I like what I'm seeing from Kenny Pickett overall. I'm very encouraged by these last 3 first halves, for sure. Najee Harris today, one of the big game ball stars, 17 carries, 86 yards. I love what he's doing. He's not putting it together in every carry necessarily, but he's breaking tackles. He's taking these 2-yard plays and turning them into 6, 7, 8-yard plays. There was one that he bounced off a guy on the inside, went outside, drug a guy. There's another one where he stiff-armed a guy on the outside and fell forward for another few yards. He's getting those tough first downs that's extending our drives. He's converting on third down. He's taking our second and longs and making them third and shorts. He's keeping us on the field in the important moments, especially in this fourth quarter. We saw that Jerome Bettis style, that take the air out of the ball, power Steeler football, and Najee Harris suits that, and he really did it solidly today. This is the third game out of the last 4 weeks that Najee's gotten at least 85 yards. He had 86 today, plus a few catches, so very nice game for Najee Harris. Jalen Warren and Benny Snell didn't play too much, but when they did, they were effective too. Warren got a couple of short catches, had a nice check down in the middle of the field. Benny Snell broke a few tackles. He's looking very motivated now after his breakout game last week. So good to see him on the field as well right now. So good running game for the Steelers, giving Kenny Pickett some time to kind of break up his throws and not be so focused on trying to carry the team. He's being able to manage the game right now, which is nice. Wide receivers. Pat Freiermuth led the way, 3 catches, 76 yards, mostly off of that 7-yard catch that he broke 3 tackles and got to the outside and took a 50-yarder. Deontay Johnson, 5 for 60, and Connor Hayward had the 1 catch for his first touchdown catch in the back of the end zone, wide open on a nice 5 wide receiver route. Deontay is a lot of ups and downs again. I keep talking about ups and downs on this team. Deontay, 5 for 60, made a couple really nice plays. Twice today, he caught balls that were short, and he needed a first down, and instead of running backwards or running laterally like he did last week, he ran the ball straight upfield and got the first down. One in particular was on like a 15-yard play. Very nice for Deontay in that. Really good at breaking off his routes and coming back to the ball. Those plays where he's running down the field and he stops and comes back, he's one of the best in the entire NFL at that. Really good route runner, and we saw that on display in parts today, but also some mistakes. Deontay goes and drops one. What was the one he dropped? He had one in his hands. It was a little bit high. He was coming across the middle. He was going to have the first down. It was a throw that was shorter than the sticks. It was like a 3rd and 13 kind of play. It was like a 6-yard pass. Had it in his hands, was looking to get around the guy and go downfield, drop the ball. Another one where it was a sideline throw where he came back to the ball on a 3rd down, caught the ball, had it knocked out of his hands because he was making a football move. He was going toward the first down, dropped the ball, was initially called a fumble and then reversed and just called a drop. But you got to catch those balls. Those are 3rd down plays where you're about to go get a first down for us. And, at the very least, you're making the field shorter. And those were 2 key drops for him. So he had 5 catches for 60 and looked good in places today, but also 2 really bad drops on 3rd down where he could have gotten first downs. So Deontay, not consistent this season. Steven Sims, I was going to say, it was good to get a 3rd receiver involved. We have not really had a 3rd wide receiver since we've traded away Chase Claypool. Miles Blanken has not been on the field. Calvin Austin is out for the year with an injury. So using Steven Sims as a 3rd receiver here is a really nice choice, but he was very inconsistent today. He's got burners, man. He's got really good feet. He moves well without the ball. He makes guys miss with the ball. He can do the Chase Claypool kind of that straight out of the snap handoff that they do, that direct from quarterback handoff, or he can do some stuff in the slot. He's very quick. But 2 plays today that were kind of just like There was one that he dropped, which was that really nice 20-yard slant throw. And there was another play that I'm trying to think of what he did. I think it was another drop. So he wasn't really consistent today either. So the only consistent receiver was Freiermuth. But I like overall what we're trying to do, though. Pickens wasn't very involved in the game. He had 2 targets that I saw, 1 catch. He was frustrated today, very evidently saying, throw me the damn ball, throw me the ball. He was complaining about it. But overall, he's going to have games like that. He'll be more involved in future weeks. You got to see more consistency, though, out of Sims and Deontay. Offensive line overall, not bad this week. 2 penalties. One went on, I want to say Mason Cole. The other was on Dan Moore. Dan Moore is the 2nd most penalized offensive lineman in the league. He's got the most, I think, is either false starts or holdings. I want to say false starts. But he's got the 2nd most in the entire NFL. I don't like what he's doing out there. He's been the weakest link in a group that has not been the strongest group in the world this year. So Dan Moore with 1 penalty, but overall the offensive line didn't play bad. Najee had some room to make things happen, and Kenny Pickett wasn't being assaulted before getting passes off too much in this game. One thing I will say, guys were slipping everywhere. A lot of slipping on this. I thought I was watching an 80s horror movie with Jason Voorhees chasing after girls in the woods. People were tripping on nothing all day long. This field was not the best for conditions. Najee tripped on one that he was going around to get the edge. Could have had a 20 or 30 yarder that could have went into the end zone. Wind up slipping and getting a 4 or 5 yarder instead. Happened on both sides of the field today. Lots of tripping. Lots of 80s horror today. Defensively, not a whole lot to say. Very good first half. Second half, we got more pressure, but we also allowed more big plays. Again, Cordero Patterson, the speed back, was held to 0 yards in the first half. Algier, the powerful rookie, did not carry the ball much in the first half. Second half, both guys got off the ball for some really nice runs. Algier, the power runs running through guys, us not tackling well enough. Patterson finding holes. The defense got tired, and I don't know why they got that tired in the second half, to be honest, because we held the ball in long drives for the most part in the first half, and we were coming out of a halftime break, so I don't know why that second half wore us down so much. I don't think it should have this time. Usually I blame the offense for not holding the ball long enough. This time it was kind of on the defense for their fatigue, but they definitely got tired, and you saw those two running backs, and you also saw Drake London making some plays on us overall. Front line, we only got one sack today. That was Cam Hayward. He got a couple nice tackles today. TJ Watt got a few. TJ Watt was having trouble reading the read option. Several times today, Mariota was going for the inside fake handoff, and he would take the ball to the outside. He was nailing. I don't know if that was his assignment or he just was reading it wrong, but he was nailing those running backs. If those running backs had gotten the ball, those would have been big tackles for a loss or fumbles. But he was hitting the wrong guy. He was hitting the running back, and Marcus Mariota was able to get off the edge and get a couple of nice runs. But overall, not a bad game for him. Just read a couple of those wrong. Cam with a sack and a few nice tackles. Minka Fitzpatrick gets the game-winning interception. When the Falcons are pinned against their own goal line trying to get a game-tying field goal, Minka gets the pick. Could have ran it back for a pick six, but smartly runs it out of bounds so we can kneel the ball down and end the game. So I'll give Minka the touchdown, even though he didn't get it here, because he could have had it. Obviously, he gave it up for us. But Minka with the nice pick. Led the team in tackles again, as always. I think he had 5 or 6 today. Very nice. Overall, linebacker play wasn't bad. Miles Jack was everywhere, as he usually is. He's a tackling machine. Coverage, like I said, coverage in the first half was pretty good. Second half was inconsistent. Once again, Levi Wallace, lots of ups and downs. He had one nice play where he had good positioning on a guy, got a nice knockdown. He's been playing pretty well when he gets the inside leverage, but he also got beat on a holding call where Drake London beat him down the sidelines, but he also held Drake London, so he got the penalty and he got beat. So not consistent. Cam also got beat on one Drake London play, but nothing too bad. Cam Sutton, pretty solid overall game. I would say he was the best of the corners today. But nothing much else to say about the defense. I'm not going to complain about 16 points to a pretty good offensive team, but you got to make sure you don't break down in your fatigue and your tackling in the second half like we did here. Special teams, man, Matthew Wright, what a season he's having after a rough first game. His last 3 or 4 have been very good. He's 4 for 4 on field goals today, including a 45-plus. He's 4 for 4, 12 of our 19 points, 4 of our 5 scores minus the 1 touchdown. Also got his extra point. For a team like ours who gets long drives that stall in field goals a lot, and you got to get points when you can when you're a young offense, a rookie quarterback with a bad offensive line, Matthew Wright's been nailing it. Presley Harvin only had to punt twice today, both times in the second half. 2 punts for 85 yards and 1 inside the 20. That was the big one. So we punted the ball up by 3 with about 2 minutes left, and Atlanta had no timeouts. I was debating whether we should go for the field goal to try and make it 6 or not, to make Atlanta go for a touchdown. They decided to punt and try to bury Atlanta deep in their own territory, and we did. The punt was landed about at the 2-yard line and was down by, I think, Miles Boykin for a beautiful punt, which resulted in the interception to end the game. So special teams, Harvin, Matthew Wright playing well in this game today. Miles Boykin making his money on special teams. Overall, Pittsburgh looks very good in the first half, holds off in the second half, still needs to put it together, still needs to be more accurate and better protection overall on offense, still needs to hold off later in the game with tackling and coverage on defense. But we've got 3 wins in a row out of the last 4 games and have looked really good at moments in all 4 of our last 4. So Pittsburgh goes up to, I believe, 5-7 now. Seeing Baltimore, I think, lost today. I'm not sure if the score was finalized or not, but Lamar Jackson got hurt. So again, we're not looking long-term here. We're looking to put some wins together, and we're looking to see what we're seeing. A healthy defense playing well overall, and a quarterback gelling with his young team as our running back improves and as our quarterback gets more comfortable. So Pittsburgh gets another win. Tell me in the comments below what looked good to you, who stood out and why. And please like, share, and subscribe if you like these Steeler Deep Dive videos, and I will see you guys again next week. I've got a gig next Sunday, so I've got to record the game and watch it later, so I'll try and bring you guys the review either late Sunday or early Monday as soon as I can watch it. But until then, take care.